Are Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson going to get in the ring in early 2026? Well, if you look at their Twitter accounts, it certainly seems like they are, but I don't know if the contracts have been 100% agreed to. Because looking back, these guys are going back and forth on social media. Teo actually has been quiet the last couple days, while Shakur Stevenson has made the claims that he's fronting and he's not signed a contract. Let's look at this timeline from this past week. In a fight that would be really an incredible fight to see at 140, Shakur Stevenson going up to 140 to take on Teofimo Lopez for a belt at 140. That's a fight I'd sign up for any day of the week. Let's see if this one actually gets made. But before we do, make sure you hit the like button. Comment below if you'd like to see this fight and subscribe to the Never Dropped podcast. So it all started just a little over a week ago. Eddie Hearn was doing an interview. I forget what the platform was. Please excuse me for that. Where they asked him about Shakur Stevenson. He said, hey, I would be down to work with Shakur, but my deal is with DAZN. The fights I work on would be on DAZN, not on Netflix or anything else. He then, in the same interview, mentioned, these mega fights happening on Netflix. This one, Shakur versus Teofimo. Everyone's like, oh, interesting. This is kind of a publicly known secret, it feels like at this point. That's like, oh, okay. So then Lamont Roach is on stream. He's talking, and of course, after Tank decided to go with Jake Paul, Lamont Roach needs a dance partner. Everyone's like, let's do Shakur versus Lamont. Let's do that. They both have said they're down to do it. Lamont goes, well, Shakur is out the rest of the year, which we do know is true because Shakur says he can only fight twice a year with his hands. It is what it is. So he's out till 2026. People are like, but he fought in July. He can't fight the next 5 months. Someone asked Shakur, is this true? Shakur responds to that and says, yeah, me and Lamont won't happen this year because Lamont was waiting for the rematch. He's going to have an in-between fight. And I'm actually getting ready to fight Teo in early 2026, but if he doesn't sign or pulls out, it can be against Lamont. Everyone's like, oh, okay, it seems like this is legit. This isn't just, pure speculation or rumors. It seems like these two are serious about fighting. Then Teofimo Lopez, him and Shakur have gone back and forth. Like, Teo will tweet about Shakur, Shakur will respond. Shakur will tweet about Teo, Teo will respond. These two have been going back and forth. It's like, okay, this is what's building. This is where we're seeing it build up. And Teo's putting out tweets like, the signature emoji, like signed or agreed to, or you don't have to worry about me, it's agreed to. It's funny though, Chris Mannix came out and said, well, there's been no movement. And in fact, the Saudis and the people backing this fight, because Shakur is signed to Turkey for fights, he has said that before, they're looking for a new opponent, which one could land on Lamont Roach for Shakur. But then they continue to go back and forth. Teo's like, you don't have to worry about that. I'm signed. I'm agreed. Shakur's like, no, I've agreed. I'm giving the fans fights they want to see. You're just fronting. You have not agreed to anything. In fact, he said, you're looking to be on the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis undercard, which is facts because Teofimo Lopez put out a tweet basically congratulating both of them on making a mega fight, mega event, and saying, I'd love to be on the undercard. So I don't know. At this point, I don't think Teofimo Lopez has signed the contract. I don't think this fight is quote-unquote official or anything of that nature, but boy, do I want to see this fight. I do think it'll happen because Teofimo Lopez, he's running out of opponents, right? Could have went up and fought Devin Haney. Last minute, backed out of that deal. Tried to fight Boots Ennis. Boots went to 54. Tank Davis is, facing Jake Paul. Like, who are his big fights that are happening? He's talking about, after I beat Shakur, I'll call out Ryan Garcia. Well, Teo needs a big fight. He's always talked about he wants the big fights. He's a superstar. He has superstar talent, no doubt about it. But the question is he going to get a big fight? For somebody of his caliber, he really hasn't gotten that big fight. I've heard people say, hey, he doesn't get paid like these other guys, even though he's just as or maybe even better skilled than the guys, the four princes that have come up. That's why Teofimo Lopez needs to take this fight. He's maybe landed, on this fight against potentially the hardest opponent he could go against out of those four princes or whatever you call them. Devin Haney after the Ryan Garcia fight. You could see whether or not he was the same. Ryan Garcia after losing to Rolly. Like, he looks vulnerable. Tank Davis has a draw with Lamont Roach. Maybe he's not as invincible as we think. Shakur Stevenson just puts on his best performance of his career against William Zepeda, in my opinion. That's going to be your guy for the money fight. That's going to be your toughest opponent. And for Teo, he thinks he can easily beat Shakur. He calls Shakur boring, whatever. And Shakur's not going to have the same style in a fight, against Teo that he did against Zepeda. But for Teo, you got to say, okay, if you don't want to throw punches, I'll come and land on you. This fight would be at 140. I got to give credit for Shakur if he goes up and takes this fight. I don't know if it would end Shakur's career at 35 or he'd move up to 40 full-time. I don't know what. But either way, I want to see this fight because Shakur's no, light 135. He's, can make 135 nice and comfortably, but it's not easy. It's not Tank Davis coming in 133.8, It's closer to that 135, so I think 140 is no problem. And Teo, he's been making 140, no problem about it. He's flirted with going up to 47, but for Teofimo Lopez, his power hasn't translated to 140. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a fun fight if it happens on Netflix. That could be interesting. I don't think this one, as a pay-per-view, say it wasn't on Netflix. As a pay-per-view, it might be a little tough. On Netflix, you got to have a good card around it. But either way, I think this could be really good. As a boxing fan, I love this fight. I mean, again, you think about it. I was not expecting Teo versus Shakur out of all the opponents Teo could have had. But I'm not mad at it at all. This would be a fun fight. Hopefully, it's agreed to because, again, Teofimo Lopez, I would like to see if he didn't go the Shakur route, maybe a Richardson-Hitchens unification at 140. But you never know, right? You never know with Teo because he's getting to the 5-yard line and backing out. So is he ducking Shakur at this moment? I don't know. I think there's still time to obviously sign a contract and make the fight and everything. But what is going to happen? I want this fight to happen so bad. I hope it does. Let me know in the comments if you want this fight to happen. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the Never Drop podcast. Let me know if you want to see Shakur versus Teofimo in the comments below. That's all I got for you. Peace. I'm out.